even though this is late night, early morning television, there are some things.
He said we want to be on next tomorrow.
We run out of the country, have to turn in your green card or whatever.
Yeah.
No, you're not a resident alien, are you?
Well,
Oh. I was just asking Dudley Moore, and we didn't even talk. 2 shot for 20 seconds and then go in, stay with him the whole time until the end. When I say thank you, pull back to a 2. No 2 shots throughout the interview. Okay. As I was saying, Dudley, you're not a U.S. citizen.
No.
No. So you're
No, I'm still a British, but I'm a resident alien, as they say, which makes one feel frightfully silly.
You feel like somebody's watching you as you move around.
Yes,
Resident
people are
alien.
keeping an eye on that resident alien over there. Yes, it's a strange title.
Well, you're so visible all the time, Dudley. There you are up on every movie screen in the country. So there's no place for you to hide.
No place for me to hide, no.
You just
Things are
crank out
closing
those
in.
movies.
Yes. Crank out, that's an unfortunate choice of phrase. Yes, well, there have been a few, I suppose.
Really, it's amazing. And I wonder, do you get concerned about
Very
making, about making so many movies? Or is it that there's such good things you just can't turn them down?
I've loved all the projects I've done, whatever the commercial fate is or isn't of those things. And you never know how these things are going to work. 6 Weeks, Love, Sick and Romantic Comedy came out in a bunch because they were done in a bunch, because there was a year gap. So I wouldn't normally have, had them coming out quite so quickly. But there are concerns, people say, well, what about overexposure? I think that's possibly an anxiety one should or should not have. I don't know. I try not to, I wouldn't like to run the risk of having too many films out. But I like working. I'm not a workaholic. I mean, I've had 5 months off between one film and the next, and 4 months off between. I mean, that seems a lot of time off, So,
Indeed it does. It sounds almost like unemployment, Dudley.
Yes. Yes.
Like you should go line up at the unemployment.
Right.
Resident aliens, can they get unemployment?
I've never looked into that.
Well,
I would imagine we could, because of Social Security and all that stuff. We do. We have to pay that.
Well, on one side of the
No?
Atlantic or the other.
I'm getting a no from back here in the bleachers.
This is a wonderfully funny story, and the subject is infidelity. Now, if you thought your wife or your best friend was, doing something, fooling around with someone, fiddling around with someone,
hiding something from me, yes.
what would you do?
Well, now today, I would accept it because I would be very. I'd feel sort of as if I'd had a punch in the stomach, but I think that happens every day anyway, and I feel that people, people's feelings gravitate towards other people much more than is ever admitted, and so I think I could very well understand that happening, and I think I would view it with great sympathy, but also not to fool myself, I'd feel hurt, but absolutely I would want the same freedom myself, to,
What was that, Dudley?
display or feel love wherever I want, and because life is short, and we've made too many silly rules, I think.
Live and be happy. Are these, Dudley, personally and professionally, the happiest and best years of your life?
I think personally, I think I've gone through one of the most difficult years of my life, which, of course, I'm not going to talk about till 20 years' time, when I can talk about things. But I think it's been an immensely difficult year, personally, psychologically for me. Professionally, I'm very happy with how I've been, yeah. But I think we all go through times of our lives which are very difficult, and we come out the other end, or we get onto a plateau of rest or whatever, you know.
See, people looking at you, Dudley, would think, boy, he's got the world on a string, making all this money and all these hit movies, and...
Well, it's the sort of mistake that made Marilyn Monroe as depressed as she was. I'm not comparing. But I have a friend who is very attractive indeed, who got very depressed and in some sort of trouble, and I said to her, I said, what is it? I mean, you're so beautiful, you've got everything going for you. I'm not talking about anybody knows, by the way. I said, you're so beautiful.
Her name is not Susan?
No. You think I'd talk about this on television? No. This is somebody else who nobody knows. She's very beautiful, and I said, well, I mean, you've got so much going for you. Why, you're depressed and so forth. She said, that's the trouble. I'm beautiful, and everybody thinks everything's fine. Same with me. I'm beautiful, and no. But you know what I mean. Everybody assumes that I don't have the human condition. I mean, I'm sure most people do, really. But I'm the same I'm just ordinary, like everybody else, really.
Well, I don't think I go along with that totally, but I know what you're trying to say. I think you're extraordinarily gifted, and not everybody is. Okay, so
Well,
much for that.
gifts or beauty or whatever don't really change pain or fear or the difficulty of human relationships and confronting life and death and... Oh, God.
Don't cry, Dudley.
No.
Don't cry. No, go ahead and cry if you want to. All right, I have one more question, and that is, you are making a movie with Eddie Murphy.
Just finished, as a matter of fact, yeah.
Best Defense.
Right.
What is the just general theme of it?
I play an electronics engineer working on a piece of machinery that goes into a tank that he's driving in 2 years away from my story. So we never actually are together in the film. His story is parallel 2 years in the future. And it's a very funny action comedy, and but we never actually meet in it. We may have a scene together, but I doubt it. But he's got some wonderfully funny stuff there, so I'm looking forward to seeing him in it anyway.
And that comes out when?
In August.
Okay. Dudley, I was going to say this at the beginning, and we got off talking about you being a resident alien and being in the unemployment line. But what I do want to say to you is that there was 10, there was Arthur, and now there's Unfaithfully Yours.
Well, that's...
In my mind, that's the way it is.
That's nice.
I laughed my head off.
That's great.
And
Thank
it's
you.
lovely to see you, and be happy.
Oh, I will.
All right.
In spurts. Hey, you know,